tools we've put into it, which like for $50 a month, I assume that you're going to be trying to upgrade it. So
I hope so, yeah.
yeah.
All right.
Look at that. We're looking pretty good.
Yeah.
We're people. Let's see. Got the
Make sure we're live here.
chicks of Facebook. Yeah, it says we're live. Let me.
Refresh here.
Cool. We exist.
Whoa. Who'd have thought? Not me.
Bum, ba-da-bum.
My poor little tablet's just like trying to load this.
It's like, I don't have enough RAM for this.
Everything hurts. Why would you do this to me, Father? All right. We look like we're online.
Sweet. We are there. Hello, everyone, or one, or you.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's do a show.
Yeah.
It's going to be a hell of a show. I can feel it already.
Hmm.
Welcome, everyone, to Good Night and Good Game, your source for geek news for the weeks that were. I'm your host, James, and with me, as always, is my wonderful co-host, Hector.
Hello.
And our fantastic producer, John.
It's me.
This week on the show, after the news, our boss room is going to be a special one, where Hector is going to be leading the conversation for the first time on what Game Pass is truly costing the video games industry. But before we start, don't forget that you can head over to goodnight.gg, where as a patron of our show, you can suggest topics for us to talk about. Also, as a patron, you get access to our off-week episodes. We have kicked off our Tales from the Crypt series watch, and it's only $1 to join our Patreon and hear all about the weird stuff that we've been watching in Tales from the Crypt. With all that out of the way, it is time to get into the weekly raid.
The weekly raid.
Welcome, everyone, to the Weekly Raid, your roundup of this week's geek news. I want to start this episode with news that everybody is going to be so excited about. Yes, the rumors are true. There is going to be a sequel to the movie that everyone loved, Vin Diesel's The Last Witch Hunter. And Michael Caine himself, the legend, will be coming out of retirement to be in this movie.
What the fuck?
Huh.
I remember The Last Witch Hunter. I remember watching a pirated version of it in my living room in the early 2000s, maybe late 2000s.
This was the one that I think was
2010s?
based on his D&D character, I want to say.
Yeah, and you know what? It was a movie that came out
Right,
that I eventually saw.
right.
I couldn't really tell you much about it. I remember a cave. I think I might remember a necklace. It was fun. You know, it was very much a rainy Saturday afternoon movie. At the
John,
time.
could you get me a Rotten Tomato score on this movie, please?
The original Witcher.
Yeah,
No, the last Witch Hunter.
So
Rotten Tomatoes.
this isn't the one with what's his Henry Cavill name?
No.
No, that's The Witcher.
That is very different.
Which
both in
season
terms
5
of,
will be coming
both
out
in
soon.
terms of quality and story.
Oh yeah.
Oh, good lord! This one, he's like in a suit, and like, he's doing the Matrix. He's doing notmatrix.com.
Yeah. So what do we have for
18%.
18%?
Is that you? Is that public?
That's the tomato meter as opposed to the what the regular people only liked it 44%.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
But I
yeah.
think the
and you know what?
critics-
That's fair. This is the type of movie that regular people would like 44%.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I liked it 44%. But if I was a critic and I was going to recommend it to people, I would probably have to be a lot less generous for the sake of my own reputation and give it something like an 18.
Yeah.
That is a perfect Rotten Tomatoes score for this movie.
This is what is getting Michael Caine out of retirement?
I mean,
He
he's
loves-
probably just bored, or you never know. I was listening to a podcast today, but it was the podcast for Peacemaker, and they had Joel Kinnaman on as a guest because, spoiler alert to anyone who hasn't seen last week's Peacemaker, Joel Kinnaman's in it. If you don't know who that is, great. Nothing got spoiled. But anyway, they're talking about like, oh man, yeah, you did a bunch of shows and a bunch of great movies, and you were a leading man, and then you did like James Gunn stuff, and you know, you were gone for a while. You weren't really a Hollywood guy, and then you suddenly came back and started working again. What happened?" And he said, "I bought a fucking house
Ha.
in Malibu, and it's a goddamn money pit."
Ha.
That might be Michael Caine's problem too. You never know. He might just really need to go back to work. It happens to the best of us.
That is very true.
It's nice to have him back. I don't know, not like this maybe, but do a Christopher Nolan movie.
Right?
Also, Vin Diesel, I think, notoriously pays his British actors a lot of money.
I hope
That does
so.
not surprise. He is very generous. From what I understand, he's very generous.
Like,
I
I
think
think
in the Fast
Judy-
and the Furious movie, he has a lot of British actors that he.
Yeah, I
yeah.
think Judi Dench for Chronicles of Riddick got like a major payday.
Fuck
Okay,
yeah.
nice, good for him. All right, so moving on from The Last Witch Hunter, let's talk about the Conjuring film universe. So the Conjuring film universe is set to expand yet again, as HBO has announced a Conjuring universe television show. So the crew that's going to be working on this, and the reason I say again is if you're unfamiliar with the franchise, there is the main continuity Conjuring movies, which is like 1 through 4 or 5. And in each of those movies, there's always a side ghost that gets introduced, and that side ghost always gets a side project. So there's the nun, there's La Lorna, there's several that get there. Annabelle gets her own side movie or whatever. And so the crew that's going to be working on the Conjuring TV series for HBO is going to be Nancy Wan, who worked on Supernatural and Jessica Jones, and that's going to be the showrunner, writer, and executive producer. Peter Cameron, who worked on Werewolf by Night, is going to be a part of it, and Cameron Squires, who worked on WandaVision, is going to be helping out with the writing. It's quite a stacked group you got for a Conjuring.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and this is coming from someone who's not seen a Conjuring movie, and that doesn't feel like they're missing out. That seems really cool, and I might have to watch this one. Like that's quite the draw.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
I just
our
ghost movies don't vibe with me. I don't,
especially
there aren't any.
So I'm going to talk about this for a second.
Ghosts.
All right.
I don't want to cut you off here, John, but I do want
go.
to talk about this for a second. So, like, I love me some ghost movies. Like, I watch a fuck ton, and I do not subject my friends to my ghost movies or my exorcism movies. Those are just two things they don't like that I enjoy, and I just watch them. However, the Conjuring movies are actually really good because they're high quality and very well acted. But you have to ignore the fact that the real people that these films are based on are horrible fucking human
Yes.
beings.
the Warrens were con artists.
These are the people who did the Amityville con. Everybody believes Amityville is fucking haunted to this day.
God.
They were con artists. The people think the Annabelle doll is really fucking possessed. Like, it's just a Raggedy Ann doll. Like, it is nothing.
It's a doll.
But they're really good movies as long as you're not buying into the, oh my God, this is real, because they'll start it with, bro, Fargo starts with these events are real.
Well,
That-
yeah,
like,
it's Blair Witch, right?
yeah,
All the way down.
You can
just with the turtles.
just say that in a movie,
Yeah.
and nobody will question it,
Mhm.
and that's a fucking problem. But again, the main universe Conjuring movies, the ones that are not spin-offs, actually very enjoyable. And I think they do the Amityville story at one point. But yeah, anyways, John, do you have something to add to that?
No, I was going to say pretty much the same thing. I mean, if you want more details, I would look up the late, great Joe Nickel, who did a lot of research about the Warrens.
Yeah, that'd be great. So, because I cut John off, I want to give John a chance to really speak. I'm going to give Hector a really good chance to speak on our next topic.
Oh.
And that is that this last week on Twitter, X, Blue Sky, all that stuff, Stephen King released his personal top 10 films of all time, and we should talk about it.
Oh, okay.
And
yeah.
he says that these films do not include some of the adaptations of his work, which are some of his favorite. He's speaking specifically to films like Shawshank and Misery. He's like, I fucking love those movies. Like,
Right.
they adapted it so well, and I love it so much. So let's start at the top with, I do not even know what the fuck the first movie is, but it's called Sorcerer.
I believe I've seen Sorcerer, but I'm going to have to Google it to be sure. That sounds very familiar.
Well, while you look that up,
1977.
Okay.
I have not seen this movie. This
Okay.
is an old movie.
okay,
Yeah, that's an old movie. No, I haven't
I've
seen
I've
that.
never
no
heard
idea.
of it.
Couldn't
No
tell
clue.
you.
Zero clue. Okay, well, everybody's heard of the second movie on his list, which is Godfather 2.
Yeah, arguably the best one. I don't know who would argue it's not the best one, but it's probably the best one.
Yeah. I haven't seen the Godfather films, but I have heard very good things about them.
You haven't seen any of them?
No.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
more
I
of a-
will. I will skip the normal freakout that you get every time you say that
Yeah,
out loud.
no, I'm a Goodfellas dude. Godfather seems boring to me.
Oh,
You know,
you,
I mean, I'm
you
sure,
wanted
sure.
you
They're-
wanted
they're
your
not
Italian
different.
Americans to be a little more stereotypical, and okay, gotcha,
Right.
A little
gotcha.
more.
I like a little less cinema in my gangsters, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, so Godfather 2 is kind of a gimme almost. Like
Mhm.
anybody can say that. Nobody really gets offended by that one.
Yeah,
Let's see here. Next on his list, Groundhog Day.
of course, of course. Like, how do you that is one of the perfect films.
John.
I will say, Treasure of the Sierra Madre. I have never seen, and I don't think anyone our age has, but it is
Nope.
all of our dad's or uncle's favorite movie ever.
Yeah,
And
it's
it
just
is
like
on his
people
list,
who tell
yeah.
you, their favorite movie is Lawrence of Arabia. It's
Yes.
Like, how the fuck old are you?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the film he listed before that one is Casablanca.
Oh, right. And you see,
like-
Casablanca is one of those. And forgive me for being young, super old people who are listening to a podcast right now, but whenever people say like the best movie ever made or their favorite movie is Citizen Kane, I roll my fucking eyes.
Right.
I do. Not that it's not great, not that it didn't set the standard for a lot of things moving forward, but there are more exciting, more interesting movies out there by a country fucking mile. Casablanca.
So what you were saying on the air right now is that Avatar is better than Casablanca.
No, I'm talking about Citizen Kane.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking
Or better
about
than
Citizen Kane.
Avatar's
Specifically.
Avatar's better than Citizen Kane.
Yes, absolutely.
I would choose Citizen Kane over Casablanca.
No, not in a
Casablanca
million years.
bored me to
Casablanca?
tears. I'm like, why, dude? Just leave. Just go do something else. Just open a firm or go into construction. Who cares, man?
No, there's a romance to Casablanca
Is
that
there?
I love. Absolutely.
I didn't see any of that.
The man loves what he does in his tiny little corner of the universe he's in. I want to remember it's Morocco. It's Casablanca, obviously.
Maybe this is also why I'd never understood the Jack and Diane romance of Cheers. I'm like, dude, who cares?
See, for me, Cheers is about Sam in the bar. Like, you know,
All right.
women come and women go. But Casablanca, to me, is about the bar. It's about Humphrey Bogart and his love for his little place in the world, and it's being invaded by motherfucking Nazis, and now we have to run.
It's like Kirk and his ship. Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm just mad, and it's the exact same. You know, and Sam has Cheers, and that's like his little corner of the youth. He gets to own it. He gets to work at it. It's his focus every day, and what he does for a living is make people happy. They come in, they sit at the stool, they talk to him, and he serves them drinks. And man, that sounds nice. So yeah, I vibe with Casablanca very much.
Okay.
The millionaire who loves his childhood sled doesn't get me at all.
Okay. So we've got Sorcerer, Godfather 2, The Getaway.
Oh, The Getaway is also a classic that I have seen. It is very classic. It is that Stephen King showing his age.
Okay. Groundhog Day, Casablanca, Treasure of the Sierra Madre, Jaws.
Jaws. I mean,
Duh.
Jaws is one of the. You know what Jaws is to people who watch Jaws in theaters? It's fucking John Wick. It's literally like this movie had no right to exist. Nothing should have gone right. They had no budget. I can't believe they made a movie that looks this good, is this much fun to watch, and scared me this much.
And then the writer who wrote the book promptly regretted what he did.
Oh, absolutely, because people went out and started murdering sharks, and
Yeah.
like,
Yep.
guys,
Poor sharks.
I knew it was the '80s and y'all were on a lot of cocaine, but come on.
And you know what's funny? After you watch Jaws, if you have never seen it, once you watch it, you will see it everywhere. Like
Yep.
me and
hear-
my wife, we just watched X-Files the other day, and it was set in a swamp and stuff. And it was the literal plot of Jaws where a guy's like, we can't shut down this whole area. We got fishing and all this kind of stuff here. And at the end of the day, it turned out to be an alligator or something. Like, it was one of the solved X-Files.
Yeah, no, just like the little ripple in the water heading towards people.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. You see that in like fucking Star
The
Wars and
Simpsons.
shit. The Simpsons, of course. Like, everything has parodied Jaws. The theme is
We play Marvel
Immortal.
Rivals, in which a land shark sings a version of the Jaws theme
Oh,
when
yeah.
he dives under the ground.
he goes da 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 da. Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
It's adorable.
Jaws, all-time classic. It's part of the zeitgeist. It's woven into the cultural fabric.
And the movie is so well made and it's so well cut that everybody always tells that story of, oh, he couldn't get the shark to work and instead it became this cool mystery or whatever. I'm willing to go out on a limb and say, if we're rewriting history, I think had they gotten the shark to work, even then, I think the editor might have been like, it just plays better if we don't show it, dude.
Yeah.
It just fucking plays
I
better.
hope so. I don't know if editors were, super forward thinking like that.
I mean, I think that editor was.
I
like,
hope so,
from
yeah.
everything I've
they
seen
made
in
it
that
work,
movie.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next one on the list I was also not familiar with. It's called Mean Streets.
Oh, it's a Scorsese for pretentious people who don't want to admit they like Scorsese. Which I get, because I don't like any Scorsese.
Yeah, What
But-
is this? It's De Niro and Harvey Keitel.
Okay. I assume it's an old movie?
77.
Oh, okay.
73. Fuck.
Yeah, so a lot of older movies in this list.
Yeah.
Next one on the list I do know, and that's Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
That is a fantastic pick. Classic sci-fi pick.
Can you
right there.
hum the tune for us?
No, I cannot.
Oh.
I have maybe seen it when I was a child.
Oh, okay.
And the last one I wasn't familiar with either, which is Double Indemnity.
I have no fucking clue what this is.
I think I had to look that one up. as
Yeah, that's
well.
1944.
Yeah.
Double Indemnity.
So we're talking like classic film noir.
Yeah, that's Fred McMurray and Barbara Stanwyck and Edward G. Robinson. Don't mean to leave that master out. Yeah, no idea. This seems like it comes from. This seems like the type of thing I would watch on that one YouTube channel where the guy hosts like film noir night.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, cool.
I gotta say, I was expecting a little more niche from King.
No?
I wasn't. No,
Yeah.
not at all.
King's a big pop culture lover, so like these being his top 10 movie choices of all time, yeah, I could see it. This Double Indemnity is probably a movie that he grew up with and just really, really loved, and
Yeah.
it should be on
There's
there.
something about Stephen King's like writings and mannerisms and just the general way he carries himself in the world doesn't make me think he has really eclectic tastes.
Well, you know what really made me think he would have a much deeper, soaked in understanding and love of film is that everything he writes, there's a reason that everybody makes a Stephen King book into a movie, and that's because they're all written like great screenplays.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
you can
not only
see
that, but they're
every shot of them.
Very original
Right.
ideas.
Yeah.
Which is also what makes me think he's not super into culture because he's not cribbing a
Look,
bunch of his shit.
it's a
from other
well-known fact that not to plug our Patreon again, but Stephen King, one of his biggest inspirations growing up was like the old Tales from the Crypt comics.
Ah.
Like
Yeah.
that's
That makes a lot of
that's
sense.
something that he was really, really obsessed with was the old EC comics. And so I remember, because he was such a big influence for me growing up, I basically learned how to read through reading Stephen King books. And when I learned about Tales from the Crypt and I started reading those comics, and then I learned that he liked them, there was it was just one of those like connections that I was just like, oh man, I'm like my hero. This is why I want to be a writer when I grow up.
Yeah, we like the same stuff. That's
Yeah.
always nice.
All right, so we're going to close out of the Stephen King of it all for right now, and we are going to move over to the world of comics, which we don't bring up very often on the podcast, mostly because the world of comics, fairly chill space, as long as you're not like on the forums talking about comics to people.
Yeah.
So, in the world of comics, yesterday at time of recording was new comic book release day, and among the releases for the week from DC Comics was the highly anticipated comic Red Hood #1. For those of you watching along with us, Hector, why don't you go ahead and hold that comic up, please?
Oh, yeah.
We have visual aids if you're watching right now. So, Red Hood #1 by writer Gretchen Felker Martin. So, on its day of release, yesterday at time of recording, the right-wing nutjob Charlie Kirk was brutally shot while giving a speech in Utah. Once the news of his death broke, the writer for the Red Hood comic took to Blue Sky with some very colorful comments about the assassination. I'm going to quote what she said on Blue Sky right now. Thoughts and prayers, you Nazi bitch, and hope the bullet's okay after touching Charlie Kirk. Now, these posts promptly got her banned from the social media platform Blue Sky, and DC Comics fired her. All comic book shops are being offered full refunds for the now canceled issue, and the series will not be returning for a second issue. We don't know if they're issuing a full redaction of the book just yet. I will speak to my own experience. I went to my local comic book shop today. It has a cover price of $5.99 on it. When I brought it to the gentleman who was running the establishment, he said, I know why you're buying this. And it's not in our POS system anymore because DC had it pulled.
Wow.
Show us that bad boy.
So I'm gonna sell you this comic for $2. He was very kind.
Yeah.
And just said DC told us to pull it. They're gonna refund us for all of them. May ask us to like pull them and send them back. But hey, Bat City Comics! Shout out to Bat City Comics here in Austin.
Hell yeah, Bat City
You
Comics.
guys are awesome. So yeah, what do you guys think about that news?
To quote the great Jared Kiso, this is an overreaction. Like, I understand that it's not cool to get up in your social media and celebrate the death of a human being.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't hurt anyone.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't use her platform to say more people should be killed. She certainly didn't do anything illegal. Was it in poor taste? That's for you to decide.
Right.
I definitely
But-
get why a company would fire her.
She lost her job,
Mm-hmm.
and the thing that had her name on it was pulled from shelves.
Mm-hmm.
I read a quote the other day that was, you're not allowed to suggest that even the worst people on earth, even if they're controlling the world, even if their actions every day result in the deaths of thousands, like Robert Kennedy Jr. or someone like that, you're not allowed to get up and say they need to leave their position or they should be killed. It's more illegal than pedophilia. And it results in things like this. I will remind everyone that the late Charlie Kirk is quoted as saying that, hypothetically, he would force his 10-year-old daughter, who really does exist, to have her rapist baby instead of aborting it. He did say that the death of people by gun violence is a small price to pay for the freedom to own the firearms that we do in this country. And no one fired him. No one removed everything he had from his livelihood for those horrific statements. I would argue her statements far more deserving of what happened to this comic author than what she said. I think that might be all I have to say about that before I get into some kind of trouble.
Well, it's all we're allowed to say.
Yeah.
It is all we're allowed to say. So let's go ahead and push on from that because that was a heavier topic there. But let's keep the heavy train rolling, but in a different capacity. More than 450 developers who are on the Blizzard Diablo team have voted to unionize this week after more rounds of layoffs in the company. This is the second time that the staff at Activision Blizzard have voted to unionize, following the 160 who voted to unionize in Irvine last month.
Fuck yeah. Let's go. Let's see more of it. It's way harder to fire 450 people who are unionized than people who aren't. We know because Microsoft keeps laying people off. We'll get into more of that later.
That is very, very true. Nintendo has patented the Pokemon style of summoning in games. That being, quote, the mechanic of summoning a character to battle an enemy using a ball. Now, why are we bringing up a patent other than the fact that patents in video games are disgusting? It is important to note that Nintendo has an ongoing lawsuit right now with the creators of the wildly popular game Pal World,
This is still about power.
in which you have the Pal balls to summon your monsters. So they went and got a patent on something in Pokemon during a lawsuit, active lawsuit against a company that they think said, quote unquote, stole their idea.
Well, James, if you couldn't take somebody else's money, wouldn't you just change the rules so that you could?
That is what we are
Duh.
fucking seeing this, aren't we?
Dear Pal World and everyone every video game developer ever, whoever wanted to make a Pokemon clone, the doors are now wide fucking open for you. All you have to do is make the balls cubes.
Yes.
And then make the exact same systems with the exact same mechanics and the exact same RPG sensibilities. Copy the shit out of all of their like animal types and magic types and element types. Go hog wild. You just can't summon them with a ball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Ooh, could we do like diamond shapes?
Yeah.
I do like diamond
Yeah,
shapes.
we can make diamond shapes. We
Yeah.
can make them little cucumbers. We
Yeah.
can make them, a little bunches of
Eggplants.
bananas, and do a Donkey Kong version. That's also Nintendo. No, the Super Monkey Nintendo too. Shit.
No, that's Sega.
That is Sega.
Super Monkey Ball, it's Sega. Yeah.
Either way, like this sort of thing is what creates more problems for them than they know. Pal World was getting pretty fucking cheeky when they did this. Not quite as cheeky as like that one company that decided to make exactly Horizon Zero Dawn. But it's pretty fucking close. It's very fucking close. The only difference is Pal World has, Pokemon with machine guns, which is dope. And that's a fun game, by the way. You should
Also,
play
I
Pal
want
World.
not for nothing. Can I interject here?
Yeah.
Pal World, I don't know if it would be getting the exposure that it does if it wasn't for Nintendo trying to sue them into the ground.
Oh, straight up. Not only that, but every time this happens, like nothing good has ever come from a video game patent.
Nope.
Think about the Nemesis system. Has EA ever used it again?
One of the greatest systems, and it was WB who patented it.
Yeah. It's never been used again.
Nope.
They won't put money into a game that would benefit from it, even though you could design an entire game around it with a brand new IP, and it would be fucking awesome. It just sits there collecting dust. Whereas we could have had something like that in every game ever.
And
Because it's a great idea.
I always think about how much of our youth was wasted during loading screens when we could have been playing a simple little game, but that idea was patented.
Yep.
That is true.
Yeah.
Playing
No,
a mini game during a loading screen isn't patented because people fucking hate us.
like we shouldn't. Okay, we just need a blanket. Like, there's a reason public domain exists, and there's a reason that if you create a character like Mickey Mouse, you get to patent that for the lifetime of your creation. For your lifetime of the creation, I believe the limit is supposed to be 90 years, right? Just as long as you're going to fucking live to benefit from the money that you get from this thing you make.
Right.
What you can't do is when you draw Mickey Mouse, you can't say, I only draw him from bottom to top. And I patent the drawing of him from bottom to top, even though like that's the way printers work or something, like so no one can print him. It's nonsense. It's shenanigans. It's a way to use the law to, I don't know, fuck like people over. The thing about patenting methods of creation rather than the creation itself is that it ruins the form you're working in. And I think there needs to be a lot more protections against anybody doing that. And again, we will talk more about that later.
Okay. All right. So, moving on from Nintendo and horrible things they're doing. God, this really just is a news week. Civilization and XCOM developer Firaxis announced a round of layoffs this week. No numbers were provided to the press, but we do know the number was in the dozens. Quote from Firaxis: we can confirm there was a staff reduction today at Firaxis Games as the studio restructures and optimizes its development process for adaptability, collaboration, and creativity, said a 2K spokesman in an email sent to game developer. It is important to note that the last fiscal report for this company stated that they were forecasting up to $6 billion in revenue.
Well, that's disgusting. Like, where did those $6 billion go? Why didn't any of it go into the fractions of a fraction of a fraction of $6 billion that their salaries would cost? Like, it's dozens, a couple dozen people, it seems like. It's not like it was 9,000 people. 9,000 people's salary is a lot of fucking money. A couple dozen when you're making $6 billion in a year? Like, I don't Yeah, this is why Microsoft's, 450 developers unionized to keep stuff like this from happening to them because it's frankly it's indefensible, and I don't know when we're going to, as a society, figure out that the notion of people working and the notion of infinite profit isn't going to it doesn't fit together, and we the longer we try and force it to fit together, the worse everything is going to get.
Well, we're almost through the news this week. Whew. All right, so let's talk about some fun stuff. So let's talk about one of my favorite games, the newest entries in the Wolfenstein series. So there's a big documentary that No Clip dropped on YouTube this week. Very fascinating. It's the second part of their documentary about Machine Games, the developers behind Wolfenstein. And the developers behind Wolfenstein said that they would like to and are kind of ready to start work on their third installment of the Wolfenstein series because they're closing up their work on the Indiana Jones game. During the interview that they had on YouTube, they said that they always envisioned the Wolfenstein series to be a trilogy. Like, they actually wrote it as a full trilogy. It's just things prevented them from being able to make the third game.
Which explains the ending of the second game.
Yeah, the ending of the second game is definitely
It's practically a cliffhanger.
Yeah. And man, I just want to, before we get to the next topic, I just want to hang on this one for a second. If you've never played like the newer Wolfenstein games, right now is the time to play them.
100%. It's amazing stuff.
It's
so good.
The most Nazi killing one can do. The stories go places.
Yeah.
There are things in that game that blow my fucking mind, and they're so simple. Like, in the second game, your character, BJ Blazkowicz, is injured at the beginning of the game. You start the game in a wheelchair with like 2 assault rifles.
Yeah, and half health.
And you play most of that game at half health.
Mm-hmm.
There is a story reason that happens halfway through the game that they give you the full life bar. And when that clicked with me that that's what they were doing, it fucking blew my mind.
Yeah, it's a game that tells its story not only through amazing cutscenes and incredible action set pieces, but also just diegetically through gameplay, through your actions and the way your character moves and controls. When you are in a wheelchair, you can't shoot with your left hand because you need to roll your chair to the right, and vice versa. And your character keeps putting the guns into his lap so that he can move his chair and then like get a little momentum so he can shoot while moving. It's really, really well done. It's a short segment, and they put so much effort into it. Mm-hmm. The way you move and the way you feel inside the world is so it's grounded. It feels like you're really standing somewhere rather than being the video game floating head that people normally are and disembodied hand that sticks out from your chest. These are some of the best quality first-person shooters that we've gotten in a decade. I don't know how many I would put in front of them. We don't get games like this anymore. We don't get solid first-person story games very often anymore, especially in the shooter genre, especially with classics like stuff like Wolfenstein. Doom has evolved to the point where it's become almost a parody of itself, and that doesn't mean it's bad, but it's a certain kind of thing. And
the first 5 minutes of Doom 2016 are a joke that there's too much story in games.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Here's the exposition, and then he punches the screen.
Yep. And in this one, it's like the story is the point, and you get acting, and you get actors, and you get choreographed cutscenes and comedy and pathos, and
the comedy is so good.
Yeah, I get characters who are making decisions. Even the bad guys have their own like very specific and distinct personalities. Mm-hmm. These games are masterful, and I can't recommend them enough. And they're very cheap to buy since the last one came out. I want to say pre-COVID.
Yeah.
So
one of the more fascinating things about Wolfenstein that I want to talk about, if you've never played the newer games, is the first Wolfenstein, the first newer Wolfenstein that came out, is a very traditional Wolfenstein story. It is go to Europe, fight some Nazis, some weird shit happens because Nazi science experiments. Mm-hmm. It gets a little fucking strange in places because that's just the nature of the story they're trying to tell. And then you get to 2. and 2 is Nazi-occupied America.
Yeah.
And the thing that hit me, and mind you, this is really before like things got as bad as they have been in the world right now. There's this thing that happens in 2 where BJ comes out of this coma, and he's like, "There's no way the Nazis could have won. Like I was
America
there.
wouldn't have surrendered.
America wouldn't have surrendered." And the thing that the game basically says to you is, yeah, Americans are a lot more racist than you give them credit for.
Mm-hmm.
And like that, when that moment hit for me in that game, and I was like, "Fuck, they really are, though."
Yeah, there's the first time you're in an American city. It's in New York after it was nuked, and you don't really meet anybody. You're just trying to find something. But the second time you're in America, you're in what seems to be, fucking the town from Leave It to Beaver.
I think you're in Texas, aren't
Yeah,
you?
definitely
Yeah.
in Texas. And they're having a military parade, not unlike the one we had earlier this year. Cough, cough. In this small town, jets flying overhead, tanks rolling by, and you're dressed as a fireman trying to deliver, a fire extinguisher somewhere. And you walk past a group of Klansmen, who are trying to suck up to a SS officer who walks in front of them, and the SS officer, the German SS officer, talks down to them, tells them to practice their German because they sound like idiots, and basically berates them and tells them to fucking watch themselves. And it's so amazing to see because the Klansmen, and I say they're Klansmen because they're in their robes, they got their hoods on.
Yep.
It's just.
They just kiss their boots.
Such a wild exchange because it's a little too real.
Mm-hmm.
In that, that's exactly how you would expect the exchanges to go, and of course, German Nazis, who won World War II, are racist towards white Klansmen Americans.
Mm-hmm.
There's something refreshingly funny about the situation.
Yeah.
So it's great writing.
If you have not played those Wolfenstein games, please do. And
While you're still legally allowed to.
while you're still legally allowed to. The other thing I want to mention from that No Clip documentary, which is really fascinating to me, is in that same interview, the developers behind Wolfenstein said that in the second game, the New Colossus, there was one thing that was vetoed by their publisher, who is Bethesda. Just want to point that out. Bethesda publishes these games when they were working out the details of the story. And that is that you would, in fact, in a pivotal moment in the game, see Hitler's quote-unquote very weird tiny wiener. And this is a fact that I am including in this podcast episode because I wanted to be able to say Hitler has a very weird tiny wiener.
Yeah, no. There's a scene in the game where you actually do, as B.J. Blazkowicz, meet the Hitler. And he's portrayed. He's very old at this point because we're in the 60s.
Yeah.
The late 60s, and he seems old and frail and a little bit out of his mind, but still, worshipped and kowtowed to by everyone under him, and every crazy idea he's had is treated like scripture. And
Yeah, he wants to go to Venus, and they're like, yes,
yeah,
my
he wants to cast an actor to play B.J. Blazkowicz in a movie so that he can be like, yeah, the Nazis defeated this crazy, Nazi hunter. Look at us. Look at how badass we are. And yeah, he's just kind of a frail old man. And you, of course, have the option to murder him, and it ends the game because you immediately die when you do. But you can do it as many times as you want. The game will just reset until you continue on with the story.
Mm-hmm.
And
But,
just like
yeah.
other alleged people in power who have weird penises, not only did he want to go to space, but he did a lot of weird, crazy drugs all the time.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
I read the book about the Nazi drug use, and man,
Yeah.
that is a
One of
that is
those,
a
though,
book.
one of those might be a myth. I don't think he actually consumed any feces of Bulgarian children or something.
No, they were just doing meth, man.
Yeah, they were doing a lot of
It
math.
was just meth.
There's a few deep dive myths that I actually got primary sources on, and even then I realized, oh, this is somebody making stuff up in the primary source.
But either way, with all of those facts where they are, play Wolfenstein, man.
Yes.
Yeah, play those
It's
games.
Now more than ever is the time to
Yeah,
go
the
and
New
play.
Order and the New Colossus. They're a good time, and they're good, and they're challenging, and they're fun. They're those are great games.
Absolutely. All right, let's get on to our last discussion topic for the week. We very briefly spoke about this last episode, but I definitely wanted to give this bit of news the discussion space that it deserves during this episode, and that is that Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 developer, the Chinese Room, has refunded anyone who purchased the premium edition of the game. And the reason for that is that that version of the game was going to include $22 of day one DLC. And when the news broke about the day one DLC, which included 2 vampire clans, if you're unfamiliar, think of them as classes in an RPG game, were locked behind a paywall. And the Bloodlines community, who's been very excited for this game, got very angry about this. They were like, fucking day one DLC? Really? Like $20 worth of day one DLC for this shit?
Yeah, and not like horse armor, but like pieces of the game.
Yeah, pieces of the game. 2 clans, specifically the Lasombra and the Toreador, were just going to be day one DLC. And the moment the community started talking about it, Chinese Room said, well, I've got a quote here, actually. We're working hard on the adjustments that we promised. We will be able to tell you all the details on September 17th. Making significant changes like what we're planning involves many moving parts, and we just want to make sure that we get it right with this change. So anyone who pre-ordered the premium edition through the PS Store or any of that will be contacted and refunded. They've already started that process. You will be able to pre-order your premium edition copy later again before the release on the 21st of October. Please note this is an intentional first step in our planned course of action leading up to the 17th of September to deliver the best possible experience for you at launch. So TLDR of all of that, day one DLC, everybody said no, and they were like, you know what, you're right. And I do want to point out here, if you're unfamiliar with the Chinese Room, they have a very good track record of being good with their community people.
Correct.
So I don't think that this was... I think this is just they didn't think about the repercussions of the thing they were doing.
It was more of a look. Everyone wants their game to ask Randy Pitchford. Everyone wants their game to cost $80, but they don't want to go out there and make their game $80. So ever since the beginning, the beginning of day one DLC, we've had games that really do cost more for the complete experience than is advertised. Right. And we just let them get away with that shit. People are becoming more and more wise to that sort of thing these days, especially with how much more popular indie games are than AAA these days, is something that the industry will not let on that is true, but it really is.
But also there's a strange conundrum. It becomes like, I don't want to say the trolley problem, but there's this like weird where do we draw the line thing where it's like, okay, we've made the game, we pretty much have the game exactly how it's going to be, and we're setting a release date and stuff, but hey, this other team, they've been kind of working on some stuff in the background that we could totally add to it day one.
Right.
And it's like, well, I don't think we should charge for that. That should just be part of the game. But then again, it's something completely additional that we didn't really know when we packaged this together in the first place. It's like...
And I agree, but day one DLC has not been in fashion for some time.
No.
Thanks to games like fucking Street Fighter, like when Street Fighter 5 or 6 came, I want to say it was 5 came out, and there was like day one DLC and like a third of the characters were paywalled behind a day one DLC. Like, people got pissed.
Yeah.
Very pissed. And that, I think, is one of the big factors of where we are now, where people are going like, look, man, this is just not the way that we want this done. Like, DLC, we're fine with it, and we'll pay for the DLC when it happens, but you're telling me that you've already created a full product start to finish, and now you've effectively paywalled part of that content off because I didn't pay an extra $20 for it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I fucking feel that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, if they still want to charge full price for their game, without the extra $22 worth of shit.
Yeah.
And that's literally just making your game more expensive,
And-
especially in a case like this where it's not, again, art or like one extra quest with a beloved character, Jabba the Hutt, or some bullshit like that. It is a class you can play through the game from beginning to end.
This is
with.
a clan that I absolutely want to be the clan that I want to play.
I was gonna say I am a Lasambra.
Yeah,
like I don't that's what I was going to do.
Yeah.
Can
So-
we, on this note, just to sneak it in here,
Hmm?
can we all agree, can we all promise each other that we're not going to buy Borderlands 4 day one?
Oh,
There was a
not.
0%
Can we-
chance
can
that
we-
was ever going to happen.
No. Me and my buddy Ross have played every Borderlands game from beginning to end, all the DLC. We love them dearly
Ditto.
at a discount.
We
We will wait until all the DLC
and that's
is ready.
two of you, and with me and John, that'd be a party of 4.
It would be, and we would have
Right.
an awesome time. But it will be when it is on sale for about half price with all the DLC released with it.
Yep.
You know, I'm guessing a year from now, maybe a little more. And you know what? Then I will play Borderlands 4, which is getting good reviews.
I've never done a
And I
4-player
would-
co-op session. That'd be
But
But
fun.
you know,
good.
for the people out there who are eager to play it, I say just wait. Like, can we
Just
wait?
don't give Randy pitch for
Yeah.
the fucking
Yeah.
validation.
Don't give the day one like validation. Don't give even the week one. Let's say 4 weeks to BL4.
Yeah.
There,
4 weeks.
there are
4
websites.
weeks.
to
There are
BL4.
websites like Green Man Gaming where you can get discounted codes. Highly recommend.
Absolutely. Don't pay full price for this game.
Do not pay full price for this game. All right,
No.
that is everything that we have for the news. But hang with us when we come back from our break as we get into our main topic in the boss room. And I'm out of booze, so I had to go get more booze.
Please get me one.
Yes. I will get you one booze.
I guess this is your boss room. Although I gotta maybe listeners are hearing me when I say this out loud, but haven't you done boss rooms before?
Well, I've always been in them.
I mean, you're in them.
I may have inspired some of them before, but I believe what's happening today is I'm going to carry the discussion, and the two of you are going to react to me rather than what James usually does in presenting the topic and letting us react to him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
And
All right.
that's the main difference. It's not a huge change, but it really is the first time I've done it. And, you know, James wants to make a celebration out of it, and I appreciate that.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Is that all you appreciates about her?
No, certainly not.
Your sister's hot.
Your sister's hot. I said it. I regret nothing. I mean, it's.
If
it's
you guys
Katie.
if you guys out there have not seen Letterkenny, it's worth a watch.
Yeah, do watch Letterkenny and do watch Shoresy afterward.
If you think you're a good comedy writer, watch Letterkenny and feel depressed.
Yeah.
Right.
They will run
Be
you
fucking
into
sad.
the ground. Yeah, I would hold Jared Kiso up there with legends. I mean, like Steve Martin, Martin's Short legends. Like any
Speaking
comedy
of,
writer.
guess what just came back this week?
Oh, that's right. Murders is back.
Yeah, Murders in the Building, baby.
Yeah, season 5. I might wait until it is.
I always wait till it's finished.
Yeah,
I have
because
to.
you know what? I usually watch it with my mom. She
Oh,
loves that show.
oh, nice. Yeah,
so
yeah.
maybe we'll do that over.
I didn't
over
know you
Thanksgiving.
guys were in that. Me and the lady just started season 4.
Oh, it's so
It's
good.
so good.
How they
It's
managed
so
to
much
keep
fun.
the show going is
Yeah.
like hilarious.
Yeah, Amy Poehler just had Selena Gomez on her podcast today, and it was like recorded a couple days ago with the show right about to premiere.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, it's
It's
gonna be fun.
amazing.
Yeah, very excited. All right,
All
I'm
right.
going to say boss room here in a second.
Yeah.
Boss room.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. It is time for the Boss Room, sometimes related to the news, sometimes not. This is the part of the show where we can dive deeper into our opinions on things, like this week's topic, the actual cost of Game Pass on the games industry. Now, this is Hector's first ever Boss Room that he suggested the topic, he's leading us off. I am just here to provide color commentary. So, Hector, why don't you lead us off on what you mean by this very topic?
So, what is the cost of Game Pass? Well, for me, because I signed up right about at the beginning of Game Pass, it's about $10 a month. It's pretty good. It's a subscription. Everything's subscriptions right now. I have a subscription to my favorite movie theater. I have a subscription to Netflix. I have a subscription to Hulu. I have a subscription to Disney Plus. I have a subscription to HBO.
PlayStation?
PlayStation. I have a subscription to PlayStation.
One of our mutual former employers literally set up a subscription for penis pills.
Yep,
Absolutely.
they
That
have
That was the
subscription for
only
penis-
way you could get them.
A decision I very much disagreed with.
That company paid us based on them selling subscriptions to penis pills.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah. It is the business model du jour of the day. You don't have to sell, a thing once to a bunch of people. You have to sell something that people will continue to pay for forever and hopefully forget that they're paying for.
All of this is edited on Adobe's subscription platform.
So, like I said, I have a subscription to a movie theater. I have a subscription to Audible, which is audiobooks. I had a subscription for a little while to my Kindle, which got me readable books. I eventually bought a subscription to video games and Game Pass. There's so many subscriptions. It is the model. But what's it doing? What is it doing to the things we have? And I want to start this discussion not by talking about video games, but by talking about Netflix and specifically Netflix movies. Because in the movie industry and the people who talk about such things and the people who go to festivals like Cannes or Sundance or, want to attend or laugh at or poo-poo the Oscars, they talk about Netflix movies in the same way that, people who read the news talk about tabloids. It's no matter what it is, the source that brings it out kind of makes it trash. We have incredible shows by incredible people that fly completely under the radar, that come out all at once in one day with no advertising whatsoever and barely exist at all. Movies with Chris Evans and Ana de Armas and Ryan Gosling. Movies made by the Russo brothers and Michael Bay and, Quentin Tarantino, Adam Sandler. No one can escape the big Netflix thing. And there's some genuinely great content in there.
Mike Flanagan?
Huh?
Mike Flanagan?
Mike Flanagan for sure. I didn't want to include him because the content that he has on Netflix is some of my favorite horror shit ever, and it's not even close. Mm-hmm. I would kick a baby across a football field for physical copies of everything Mike Flanagan made on Netflix, just so Netflix knows that. Please do that. It's great that I can get Castlevania and Arcane on Blu-ray. Give me The Haunting of Hill House and Bly Manor. Give me everything, all of the Mike Flanagan stuff. But the point is that Netflix will never release how many people watched the Michael Bay movie. A director who, when you movie absolutely positively has to make $1 billion fucking dollars, is he's the director you go to. The Russos coming off of Endgame, making movies that with Chris Hemsworth that barely got a review, on an article on the internet.
I'll be honest. What movie are you talking about?
So there are two Chris Hemsworth movies by the Russo brothers called Extraction, and they're fucking pretty badass. They're good. Six Underground was a movie a little bit about racing. Red Notice had The Rock and Ryan Reynolds, the two actors that are not actors but brands.
But then you would have to watch Red Notice.
But Red Notice. And the thing is, if they had advertised that movie and put it out in theaters, it probably would have done pretty well just on star power alone. But Netflix bought it and Netflix made it. And even though you have these three, because Gal Gadot's in it, incredibly beautiful looking people walking around half naked the entire movie, committing crimes and doing cool action scenes.
It is your mom's favorite background noise while she irons.
Nobody cares. And that's the thing. Nobody cares about the stuff that gets released on Netflix as original Netflix content because it feels like B-sides. It feels like the comics like the pulp comics that were printed on lesser quality paper that you would pay a nickel for instead of $1. It feels like the movies you would see at the theater that was less reputable and showed porn sometimes in
And
the
that's
70s
how they
and 80s.
that's how they look. That's how those movies look.
Yeah. That's what Netflix movies feel like, and they shouldn't. I'm watching Wednesday right now, and you know what? That is a well-made show. It's really cool. And unfortunately, it is filmed like TV slop. No one they film it because it's going to be watched on a TV, so it doesn't look as good. It looks like it will balance on every TV in America with the color grading and the clarity and the lack of any camera focus anywhere for any reason because it's shot on digital and you have to add focus in after the fact, and they don't. So it could look better, but the actor's doing great. The costuming is amazing. The sets are amazing. I mean, Catherine Zeta-Jones alone is a great reason to watch that show. But
Hector.
Luis Guzman.
Luis Guzman,
The perfect Gomez. Like, so
yeah, like almost so good he's better than the original.
right?
Hector, what does Wednesday have to do with Games Pass?
This is the thing. Game Pass is the thing because until Game Pass, I say now, Game Pass has been around for I think almost a decade.
Some of you
Almost,
weren't
yeah.
even born yet.
We're at like 8 years, maybe.
We're
I
at
think.
like 8 years of Game Pass, and you can go back and watch me say, Game Pass is an incredible deal. Game Pass is the best deal in gaming. For $10 a month, I can play anything on Game Pass that Xbox puts into that library at any time. And yeah, games came and went now and then, and some games would leave Game Pass, and some new games would come in every month, and a lot so AAA day one games, and lots of really cool indies, and I loved playing them. I can't name you very many of them. Every game in my Steam library, I can look at and tell you, and I don't know why this is. I can look at it and I can tell you when I played it and how I played it and how I felt about it.
Is it the badges?
It could be the achievements, but I don't look at my achievements. I'm not the achievement hunter guy. That's my buddy Ross, and James too, depending on the game.
True.
But for me, I think I've platinumed like 3 games in my entire life. I don't care. I just want to have fun while I'm playing the game, and when I stop having fun, I stop playing. But the thing about Game Pass is I barely remember my time with the service. And I played a lot of huge games in it, and I played a lot of really great indies that I'm thinking about now.
When we were
and
working
it feels like slop.
When we were working together, you primarily played Game Pass games.
Yeah.
You just kind of tore through them, basically.
Yeah, I would go through one in a week, and I'd be like, oh, that was really good. Someone should play that. I think the thing that I'm thinking about the most is, what was that game that came out recently that was like claymation?
Oh, I forget the name of it.
Yeah.
Something about fire or a light?
It had a very Cajun theme.
Right. South of Midnight?
South of Midnight. Thank you. That game, here's the tragedy of South of Midnight. That game should have been on my list to grab on Steam as soon as it came out, but it was on Game Pass. But I never played it on Game Pass because I was already getting kind of sick of the proposition of it. But that game seems incredible. It might not have been the best game because it's their first offering, but they launched day one on Game Pass, which meant I couldn't justify purchasing it on Steam.
I keep forgetting that I want to play this.
I want to play it very badly. You know why you keep forgetting about it? For the same reason you don't know about all the movies I'm talking about on Netflix. Because they don't fucking advertise them. They don't tell anyone they're making it. They don't tell anyone they're doing it. Because the point is, it's content for a subscription service, not a piece of art that is being presented by, a developer so-and-so, or a producer, distributor, Bethesda, or, someone like Devolver. It comes out and it goes, we have this thing on our service, please subscribe. We have this thing on our service, do you like it? Please subscribe. We have this thing on our service, do you like it? Please subscribe. And Game Pass is the reason I didn't play South of Midnight. And I know that for a fact, and I'm trying to figure out why, but what it tells me is that Game Pass is hurting the industry. The reason that I wanted to bring this up and the reason I wanted to talk about Game Pass is because a report came out not too long ago that specifically showed that having access to an infinite library of games that you could never complete on your own for the people who paid the $10 for Game Pass did not alter their gaming behavior. It did not make them play more video games. It made them play probably the exact same amount of video games, maybe video games they wouldn't have played or paid for otherwise, but that was not necessarily the case. They still played the games they wanted to play. And if the barrier to entry was, $60 for AAA or $40 for AA, 30 to 10 for indie, they might have bought them anyway. And however many copies were sold is however many copies were played. So what did we really do here with Game Pass besides devalue the products that we have? Because if it weren't for Game Pass, I'd have South of Midnight in my library.
May I?
Absolutely.
I know this is jumping ahead to the epilogue a little bit, but this week there's a game I have been playing, actually in my Discord. I've been playing MechWarrior 5 Clans. Now, anybody that knows anything about Deep James lore, I'm a giant BattleTech / MechWarrior fan. Also, any video game that puts me in a mech cockpit, like that is my absolute shit. I have a thing for mechs. I'm a boy in that way. I'm just a boy who likes some mechs. And I would have, because the game is very difficult, I would have, however, paid full price for MechWarrior 5 Clans. It is it is probably one of the best MechWarrior games I've ever played, and that's saying something.
Right on.
It is so good, and it really is trying to bring in the MechWarrior 2 audience. There's a lot of stuff in there, and that is a game that I would have paid, if not full price, probably would have got it on like a 20% off sale on Steam during Christmas time or something. Like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, it's in our library. We have a shared family library for me and Ross. And like, yeah, you guys would have access to MechWarrior 5 right now, because I would have been like, oh yeah, I'm going to buy that and do the thing.
You know, it's a funny story that the more I think about our family library for Steam, the more it encourages me to buy games that y'all wouldn't, just so that we all have access to them.
It's very true.
Maybe that's a better idea to sell people games in a subscription. Think about it, Microsoft. To get back into that, you know, there was a time when Microsoft was the devil, and I'm talking like the 360 era or so, and, you know, the Xbox One era, and then they started to shit the bed when it came to the console wars, and people really didn't care about them as much until Game Pass came out, and all of a sudden, they were the new hot thing to put video games, you know, front and center, et cetera, et cetera. And now here we are, literally news earlier in this segment, not this segment, but this show, about them laying off thousands of people, which they've done consistently every quarter forever, despite turning billions and billions of profits per quarter. So whatever Game Pass is doing, it's not stopping that. And according to a lot of reports from a lot of developers who said, well, we had to go Game Pass day one or we wouldn't have been able to finish our game, you know, then yeah, it's on Game Pass. And then you ask them, oh, well, how much money did you make from sales? And they're like, well, not much. It was free on Game Pass. So how many copies did you sell? Well, not many. And on Game Pass, how many played it? We don't know. They don't tell us. It's just, it's devaluing all of the art. It's taking the thing that could have been great, or at least would have been mid, or even just mediocre, but people would have loved it. It's removing the possibility for cult classics. People don't get to discover this stuff because, again, nobody advertises it, because it's just, you know, meat for the grinder. It just goes in so that more people will subscribe. And if Netflix is any indication, the subscriber threshold is hit. Everyone on Earth who's going to be is subscribed to the service. So there's no way to make more money next quarter without making things worse or charging more money for it, which people are going to bulk at. We need to find a way to pay for art correctly. We need to find a way to keep Microsoft from being the bad guy and devaluing all of games for a quarterly profit, because video games are something I love, much like movies. And thankfully, Netflix isn't going to ruin the movies industry. They're just not good enough to do that. Which is saying something, because Netflix is a fucking giant. Luckily, movies endure. But video games, I'm afraid for all the time. Not necessarily because, you know, they're going to kill the AAA industry. They're not going to kill the indie industry. Twitch.io will exist forever, and the indie game industry will be fine. But it's the loss of projects that had so much potential that are swallowed up by a whale and are never to be seen again. And then no one can find them, and no one knows about them. And then people 30 years from now will be like, why didn't anyone play this game? Because no one knew about it. Same thing for a bunch of content on Netflix. I remember a show on Netflix whose name I can't remember right now that starred Emma Stone and Jonah Hill, and it was a miniseries, and it was fucking amazing.
The weird sci-fi one?
Yeah, the weird sci-fi one.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about Hemlock Grove again.
And I don't think anyone watched it. Hemlock Grove was also a really cool show that no one watched.
It's a great vampire show.
Yeah. There's a bunch of really cool horror. There's lots of amazing stand-up all over Netflix. But I keep talking about Netflix. There is so much good indie shit on Game Pass. That was not exclusive to Game Pass, but day one on Game Pass, so no one bought it.
There are a few exceptions to the rule here. I just want to point out,
Sure.
like things like understand that for every 10 south of midnights, you get one Expedition 33, which just defies all expectation. And even though it comes out day one on Game Pass, it sells 20 million copies anyway. But like that game is like a rare fucking gem, which is why it's going to be up for Game of the Year.
Yeah, some games are too good to fail, and the industry, the media, the culture around video games is very good at spreading that particular word. There's no reason. Look, here's another great story. Silksong crashed every video game selling platform on the internet except for Xbox.
I forgot to include that in the news.
Xbox was fine. Silksong came out last Friday, and the day that it launched, you could not pre-order it because Team Cherry is fucking based like that. Good on them. And there were no review copies lent out because they're like, no, wait till we release it. Then you can have it. They earned the benefit of the doubt. They did it. They released an incredible fucking game. The PlayStation Store crashed, and Steam crashed, and Nintendo crashed. Xbox was fine. Because no one has an Xbox anymore, and people don't go to that store to buy things because of Game Pass. And if there was ever a game worth owning, it's one, Expedition 33, and two, Silksong, especially this year. These games will be fighting it out for Game of the Year, and I can't wait to see what happens.
I also think there's a stranger philosophical kind of question at play here. And in a way, I think a lot of streaming services are being hoisted on their own petard because they're saying, oh, no, it doesn't cost much. Don't worry about the money. Don't worry about the money. Forget about money. Money's meaningless.
Yeah.
And it's
I
like,
can make
well,
the sheet say whatever I want.
it's like, but wait a minute. Our whole lives in our current society, state of affairs, we've been told that money is the only thing that matters. And so now that we're not paying our money, because I remember my Steam games, because I remember, I scored the entirety of Borderlands 2 and all the DLC for like $10, you know? I remember that shit. But I don't remember how many times my billing cycle for Netflix happened and the stuff I watched on Netflix. And so it doesn't mean anything to us because the money factor has completely disappeared, and nothing's on the line like in gambling and casinos where they don't want you to see all the money that's being taken. It's a really strange state of affairs where they have tried to remove the meaning of money, and we're like, no, you just took away the value of your art.
Right.
Can I throw a quote out here real quick?
Please do.
This is a quote from This Week, by the way. And this is from Pete Hines, who is the former head of Bethesda. So subscriptions have become the new four-letter word, right? You can't buy a product anymore. When you talk about a subscription that relies on content, if you don't figure out how to balance the needs of the service and the people running the service with the people who are providing the content, without which your subscription is worth jack shit, then you've got a real problem.
Right.
So you have people that are creating this content, right? Like your Silk Songs, and they're putting them on Game Pass. And the money, from what we understand, because we do not, Microsoft has obviously never been upfront about the way that the money works for Game Pass. What we do know is that at some point, Microsoft walks up to your company with a dump truck full of money and says, you can have this dump truck full of money for your game development if we get it on Game Pass first. And because game development is an expensive process, people go, well, I would like the dump truck full of money, please.
Mm-hmm. Gonna need that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing about to draw the final the dot and a T across this stick of a conversation, the devaluing of the art itself is the real problem. It's one thing to have a subscription to a movie theater because I still have to go to the theater and I still have to enjoy my movie. And obviously the problem with
We
streaming.
get a free movie ticket, and I don't get out of Alamo for less than $50. a fucking
Exactly. Yeah,
session.
Alamo's making its fucking
Hey,
nut.
bro,
For sure.
tune down those drink prices, please.
Oh yeah, please do. How am I drinking White Claw at the Alamo Draft House? Because it's the
For-
cheapest thing
for
on
like
the menu.
$15.
Exactly, right? But that's a subscription I can get behind because it allows me a free ticket to the Draft House, and that's amazing. But the content in my house, like, instead of putting on a podcast or, a YouTube long form essay while I do my dishes, I might throw on, I don't know, an episode of Lego Masters or Great British Bake Off that I would really benefit from actually just sitting down and watching that. But most of the people, they don't care, and they'll throw on a Michael Bay movie while they're doing their laundry, and that's something that I want to experience. But
Is it?
yeah, it is. I love Michael
Okay.
Bay. We'll have that conversation one day.
There's another quote here that I have for you as
Please
you
do.
begin to wrap this up. This is from the former PlayStation boss, Sean Layden. And this was only a month ago, so we have a quote from a week ago and a quote from a month ago. Is Game Pass profitable? Is Game Pass not profitable? What does that mean? That's not really the right question to ask. You can do all kinds of financial jiggery pokery for any sort of corporate service and make it look profitable if you want to. You take enough costs out of, say, one part of the balance sheet, and oh, look, it's profitable now. The bigger issue for me on things like Game Pass is it healthy for the developer? And he specifically is quoted later in that interview saying that because of things with an Xbox Game Pass style of subscription, you turn developers, and this is a quote from him, from developers into wage slaves.
Yeah. So never forget, we still live in the era of the rapid development of AI art, AI movies. There's apparently they're trying to develop an entire movie through AI with a script penned by an amazing writer, et cetera, et cetera. So if they sell us a subscription to that, and now a computer is making the art for us, what are we doing? What are we paying for? And I don't want to slippery slope this off into infinity, but it is slop at a certain point. It can be better, and the people making it know it can be better, but they have to make it a certain way in a certain amount of time to appease the subscription service rather than in the service of the thing that they wanted to make. And it's just so fucking unfortunate. And I really, really don't want games to go that way. We talk about people using AI in video games, and the more I hear about AI these days is that it's used most prominently to check people's code. That's fucking scary because we don't need computers being the ones who know the most about code. Not because they're going to come to life and kill us, but because we're going to forget how to program shit.
And because they're gonna kill us because we're gonna be too lazy to, right now they're literally implementing it in some war decisions, military decisions, when every single AI program has demonstrated across the board it will always choose its own existence over you.
Yep.
And if it thinks it's a test, it'll lie. And then when it's real, it'll say, no, fuck you. I'm just going to keep existing because you told me that's more important.
I think the biggest thing about subscription models, especially when it comes to video games, is video games have always been a very fragile medium because it probably is the first thing to go entertainment-wise because it's the most expensive when it comes to hard financial times, which we're certainly falling upon right now and will probably continue to for another 3 years. And I don't want to see developers get hurt. I don't want to see talent get lost. I don't want to see them go into another industry, even though they were amazing. Imagine if, while the people who were developing Half-Life 2, the whole economy took a shit and they all went to go install solar panels in New Zealand or something. And we never, and Valve didn't exist and Steam didn't exist. And I feel like that's the type of stuff we could be losing. So I canceled my Game Pass subscription.
Wow.
A couple of weeks ago, maybe as many as 2 months ago. And dear listener, viewer, I kind of suggest you do the same. It's not healthy for the medium. If it's the only way you can get games, I don't begrudge you. It is a very good deal. and there's a lot of great games there. And if you love games and it's the only way you can experience them, I get it. But if you have the ability to buy your video games, please do it from a platform that is not a subscription, because it's just better for the industry. It's better for the medium that you love, and we'll get better things because of it. I can pretty much guarantee it.
It is more money into the pockets of the developers who make the game.
That's right, absolutely.
We
Even
need
through
a
Steam, especially through Steam. And don't forget, Steam takes probably the biggest cut of any platform, but it's also the place where your game will get noticed the most and where you have the most likelihood of selling copies. So,
We need a Steam for movies.
do we?
I think so. I mean,
You know what?
how else are you going to own a movie now digitally?
No, I'm right there with you. Like, I don't want to have a giant Amazon library of purchased movies. Something about that.
That gets taken from you because they will. Amazon
Right.
will.
Oh, yeah. And something about it greatly turns me off. I would rather movies continue to be physical media. Streaming quality, it'll say 4K, it'll say 1080p. It sucks ass compared
Oh yeah,
to
I'm not talking a
just a
streaming
Blu-ray
service. I'm
in
talking
my
like Steam, like it's on your hard drive.
Oh yeah, no, that would be nice. That would
Like
be
I got
great
the
because
full
they
Remux, bro.
Yeah, no, that would be cool. It's a very niche market, which is why I'm saying Blu-rays. Like if we could just go back to physical media with amazing quality, cuts of movies and stuff like that, that I can feel and think about watching the movie and pop the disc in and sit on my couch and get ready for an experience. I love that shit. It's the
Literally-
reason I love vinyls, because you have to think about what you're going to entertain yourself with and what it's going to be. I remember times when I had my PlayStation 4 with the Blu-ray player in it, and my internet would go down, and it was just an outage, like an AT&T outage or something, and I couldn't. I had no internet, so all I had, if I was going to entertain myself for the next couple hours while AT&T fixed their shit, was to look through my Blu-rays, decide which one I wanted to watch, and pop it in my PlayStation 4.
Or access your local server where I have ripped all my Blu-rays.
There was something really nice about that experience.
And there's more to it than just that. Like I agree with you on that. And I know this is getting a little off topic for what we're talking about, but to share kind of a similar experience, I got to show someone, a close friend of mine, over the last couple weeks, my favorite movie, 13 Ghosts.
Hell yeah.
And as her and I were watching it, because we were watching it on Discord, because she lives way up north, we're watching this. And, after we got done, we're kind of catching up and we're talking about the movie and all these things. And it was like one of those moments where I was like, so I know a lot about this movie and all of those ghosts. They don't tell you the ghost stories in the movie, but the DVD that I owned had like 2 to 3 hours worth of content.
Oh, yeah.
Just about the ghosts.
Special fucking features,
like
yo.
special features. And I was like, I will sit here for hours if I'm allowed to, and I will tell you everything about every ghost in this fucking movie. And that's a sadly missing thing.
It is. I mean, I have the just to add a little bit onto that. I have the extended editions of every Lord of the Rings movie on Blu-ray, and they all come with each movie comes with about 8 hours of extras, from interviews from the props guys to the costume guys to the directors to the editors to filming on location and interviews with the actors as they moved through filming the movie in order and out of order. I have collectively watched probably 13 hours of additional content for the 12 hours of movie I already saw with the extended Lord of the Rings edition, original trilogy, of course. And I never, ever would have done that any other way, except because I had those physical copies and I wanted to see that shit.
Well, two things. Number one, I have all those things on my Plex library because when I rip them, I label them correctly and put them in. But number two, outside of this room, no one misses the special features. I do. I miss them. No one outside of this room gave
That's
a
understandable.
fuck. Like there was no backlash on. There was no online surveys of Netflix. Give us our special. Nobody cared. Like they crammed that shit down every normal person's throat for 20 years. And the second Netflix came around, it just, that myth was gone.
Can I tell you that on my Disney Plus subscription, the things I watch the most are the making ofs?
Me
I
too.
will
Those
put
are
on-
awesome.
I will put on a making of a Marvel or Star Wars show
Ooh.
before I'll put on the show.
I have watched Waking Sleeping Beauty and the Pixar story like on repeat like 20 times.
There is a
Did
five.
they do a making of Thunderbolts yet?
Probably it's probably there. We just haven't looked at it.
Watch it. Yeah.
There is a 5 fucking hour documentary on the making of Frozen 2, and I have watched it like 3 times.
Really?
I love it. It's so well done. It just goes through all of the artists and how they came up with the music and people who were animating all through the end, and it tells a really compelling story of trying to hit a deadline while like trying to make it as beautiful and interesting as possible, and changes coming in at the last minute that totally made the movie better because they had something really shitty at first and then they had to like work it in. Cool stuff. Behind the scenes things. Again, yeah, we're off topic. Cancel your Game Pass subscription.
Is that the final thesis for the final statement for the boss room?
I don't think the medium of video games is compatible or healthy with a subscription model. I probably think the same thing for movies and television. I don't know what that means as far as how we should consume these things, but yeah, no, Game Pass isn't it. You know, before when it was PlayStation Plus, I get a couple of free games a month that they have sitting on the back burner. And every once in a while, you get a little treat of a game that launches day one or a really good or big AAA game that only came out a few months ago, probably because it didn't sell well, Dragon Age Vile Guard. But you get it. And maybe it'll make you play it. But having everything in the PlayStation library available to me at all times for like, I don't know, $100 a year or even like $20 a month, I would probably play fewer video games, honestly. And I don't know why that is. I do know I don't touch my Netflix subscription that much because there's too much other stuff to watch. And there's too many services. And if we ever got to the point where there was Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Game Pass and Nintendo Game Pass, where I could play Nintendo games on my PC now with all that stuff, a lot of people would think that was really dope immediately. But Nintendo would never be the same. And I think if there's any Nintendo fan who wants anything, it's for Nintendo to kind of keep being Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's the final thesis. If you can afford to, don't subscribe to Game Pass. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's everything that we have for the boss room this week, but stick with us as we get into what we've been playing in the epilogue.
Epilogue. Real quick, I'm going to say that I wanted to say earlier because I said I don't vibe with ghost movies, that 13 Ghosts is absolutely an exception to that.
Also, wait.
There are
The
exceptions.
Frighteners. You like the Frighteners?
I do like the Frighteners, and my favorite horror thing of all time, The Haunting of Hill House, is all about ghosts.
Yep. that's
So
very true.
you
I
can
think it's
write-
about grief, really.
You
but
can write ghost stories well. Most people don't.
Well, or you could write ghost stories that don't imply somehow they're real,
Yeah, or
like
that
you're a child.
or that Satan's gonna get you.
Very
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
All right, it's the epilogue. It's time to dive into what we've been up to this week. What we've been playing, what we've been watching, what's been occupying our free time, and what has been making us happy. John, what have you been
Well,
doing?
I want to tell you guys that I finally cracked the code and made a lot of progress on, God damn it, what is the cerebral space hopping, planet hopping game that
Outer Wilds.
Outer Wilds, Outer Wilds, which
One of my favorite games of all time.
I can't tell you that though. I can tell you I've gotten some key clues, and I'm like, ooh, that's interesting. That's interesting. I'm gonna sit with that.
It's a puzzler.
But in the meantime, I went and I played beginning to end High on Life.
Oh, that's a good
Which
one.
it was very fun. I liked it a lot, and I wanted to catch it before it's probably not something any of us should ever play. And I didn't spend any money.
Probably.
There you go.
At least,
didn't-
at least new voice actors in the sequel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there's a sequel coming out. And
What?
you know what? I really liked
Okay.
They're removing the problematic actor from the game.
Yeah.
the
and-
Roiland of it all aside. Like that was a really fun
Yeah.
game. And again, we don't get a lot of fun, interesting, like first-person shooter games. I have
And
to go
it
to Indie
felt
World
good.
for that. I have to go to Boomer Shooters for that, you know? And so having something that high profile be that much fun, I loved it.
And also, it played so well. Like, it felt really good as
did.
a shooter.
Absolutely did.
Second thing I want to name, and I've talked about this before, but I got back to it since I got through with a couple Stephen King books. Adventure Time, the comic series. If you out there are like, man, like it's not enough. I need more. I need more Adventure Time. The comic book is the one comic series I've ever read of like a cartoon or TV show or anything that I would say it's one for one the same.
Okay.
Like the art, the jokes, the writing, the style, it is one for one the same. And just pick up the comics. It's fantastic.
That's really nice to hear. Adventure Time holds a very special place in my heart.
Because usually I
there
add
was a lot of it.
qualifiers. Usually, like I read the Rick and Morty comics, and
Oh,
it's like,
sure.
oh, those are funny. They're okay. They're different, but they're still good. No, this is one for one. Just more Adventure Time.
Got it.
Into that.
Hector, what are you doing?
Oh man, so I like about I don't know like probably 5 million of the rest of you have been playing Silk Song, the sequel to Hollow Knight. I believe it might actually be called Hollow Knight Silk Song.
Where did you get it?
I got it from Steam like an
Ooh.
adult
How
For
long did
how
you have
much?
to wait?
for $20, and I waited 7 years. By the way.
Oh, burn.
One of the most anticipated video games of all time.
Yep.
And those motherfuckers said we're only charging you $20 for it. And the internet actually went, but we want to give you more money.
Oh yeah, straight up. They said no. Like we heard the price because Team Cherry announced the release date, and then a few days later they announced the price. And the response from the entire community that was waiting for this game was, "Oh no, we can give you more."
But Hector, were you day one? Were you able to get it?
Oh yeah. The store was down for
Okay.
several hours, but I still managed to buy it on my phone from work and install it on my PC so that when I got home, I could just hit play.
I mean, that's a quick install, though. Am I crazy?
Oh
That
no,
was
no,
like-
no! It's like a 7 gig install.
Yeah.
It's nothing. And man, the game is everything I want it to be. If you were listening to me while I play it, you would think I hated the game because it is very, very difficult and it can often be frustrating.
You were streaming it in my Discord, and God, you just hated everything.
Yeah, I hated my life. I hated, the world. I wanted to know why Team Cherry hated me personally, why they were attacking me like this. But my God, that game is high art. Like every bit of it is just so fucking polished and beautiful and interesting and intriguing. And even when I am frustrated by how difficult this journey I'm on is, I am soaking it in. I am just absorbing the vibes. I'm vibing with the combat. I'm trying to get better at it. I'm trying to teach myself to be patient about it. All while it kicks my fucking ass like it's meant to do. Yeah, what a wonderful game. That's the only game I've been playing. I put everything else down to play it, and hopefully I can finish it in the next couple of weeks and let y'all know. Game's gigantic, y'all. It's so much bigger than any other Metroidvania I've ever played, and I'm still not even in Act 2 of 3 acts.
Wow.
Yeah. Other than Silk Song, I have been watching Twisted Metal. I went ahead and decided to rewatch the first season because the second season just wrapped up, and I heard nothing but great things. And
The second season will move you, man.
yeah, I'm so excited because that is a quality show from Peacock that nobody watched. Again, streaming.
Right.
They didn't fucking advertise that shit. They didn't tell anyone what was going on. They didn't tell anyone, yeah, we have Anthony Mackie. We have Nev fucking Campbell in the first season.
Will Arnett.
Will Arnett. We have just awesome shit going on all the time in this amazing action-packed, well-acted, incredible sets, incredible cars and chases and editing and the whole thing. It's a complete package. It has the sauce.
A show that is aware of its absurdness.
Oh yeah, it knows exactly what it is, and it
Yeah.
just gives it a big hug.
And it'll have these episodes where it's like, yeah, we're going to have the clown's head on fire in one episode. And then we're going to do a really intimate episode between two characters where they confess what their lives were like during growing up in the post-apocalypse. And you're just like, what?
Yeah.
What? I remember when I first heard about the show Twisted Metal and our friend Ross had recommended it, I was like, that's going to be the dumbest thing ever.
He's like, yeah, that sounds fucking stupid.
I have played those games, and those games are dumb.
Yeah, they don't have plot. They're stupid.
How can you make a story about a guy who drives around on two giant wheels?
Yeah, but by holding them with
By
his
holding
arms and
them.
legs.
And yet, and I will not spoil it for you, he is one of the most beautiful men of the entire second season. And everybody gets like a personal episode in the second season, and you're just sitting there being like, well, I have to go cry now. How dare you?
Yeah, no, I can't recommend the show enough. However you get it, however you watch it, check out Twisted Metal. Other than that, the Great British Bake Off is back.
Hell yeah.
I've been going through the previous season of Lego Masters because there's a Lego Masters Junior that I want to get to. I don't know how much I'm going to like it because I hope the kids are really good. Let me put it that way. Obviously, we're watching Peacemaker. We're watching Alien Earth. Both of those shows are unmissable. Do not miss them. Watch them now. Watch them week to week. It's fucking worth it. It's better that way. It is just, both are so fucking good. Do yourself a favor and watch those shows.
Alien Earth is the best thing to happen to the Alien franchise since Aliens.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. How does Noah Hawley come out and be like, "Hey, James Cameron," and just throws his fucking mic on the floor and like, do it?
Yeah.
I fucking dare you.
Agreed.
And the last thing, Only Murderers is back. Only Murderers in the building. I think it just started back up.
Literally just started
And
last
it's
week.
going
3-episode premiere.
It's
3
doing
episode
week to week,
premiere,
or
and then it'll be
Yeah.
week to
Okay.
week. Usually, I want to say 10 episodes.
Yep.
And it's an amazing binge, and it's amazing week to week too. That is one of the most fun shows. That's one of the few shows that's like ongoing and unlike season 5 that I cannot miss.
I gotta say, it's one of the few shows that are about podcasting that doesn't feel like they're talking down to people who podcast.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. They're like, hey, these people have something interesting to say, and they record a podcast about it.
Yep, like we do.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
What have I been up to this week? Well, I just got done listening to a fantastic podcast where I got to listen to my best friend talk about a topic that he's very passionate about. So thank you for that, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Appreciate that. Alien Peacemaker, fantastic. I'm going to go on record as saying right now, between you and me and the wall, the intro to Peacemaker Season 2 is the superior intro to Peacemaker.
Ooh, controversial.
It is controversial.
I
Season
agree,
1, more fun. Season 2, way better intro. I just finished Fargo Season 4, another Noah Hawley show.
Fuck yeah.
Gun to my head, it's probably the weakest season of Fargo. But I mean, like, don't say that and be like, don't watch it. I mean, it's a fucking good season of
Yeah,
Fargo.
it's like picking your least favorite season of The Wire. It's like, I don't even know why I'm telling you this right now. It's still like, you should go fucking watch it right now.
Yeah, watch all of it. I've been playing Helldivers 2. We are so back, baby, with the Xbox Game Pass of it all coming back around. We now have Xbox Helldivers. We have the ODST Helldivers. They finally fixed the fucking servers. The bugs are the bugs are winning, y'all, and the bugs are more terrifying than ever. They can fly now.
They fly now.
They can fly, and there's a giant worm, and you walk without rhythm to try and not attract the worm, and he will get you. It doesn't fucking matter. He will one-shot you. And then other than that, I've been playing MechWarrior 5 Clans, and that is such a niche fucking title because, again, I love mech games. But Jesus Christ, the story has been fantastic. It made me realize how much I miss BattleTech. So much I reached out to a friend of mine who does a lot of like shopping at various half-price books, and I was like, hey, if you can find some of the old BattleTech books for me, can you pick them up and I'll just pay you for them? Because I used to play the board game, I used to play the role-playing game, I obviously played MechWarrior a lot. It was one of my first computer games I ever played was MechWarrior 2. And I am loving the story. For whatever reason, they managed to give an actual good, beautiful story. Because the clans, if you don't, and I will not side tangent this, the clans are a very uptight society. They do not use contractions. They don't use contractions in their speak because that is considered a dirty form of speaking. But they somehow wrote 5 clan characters and really made them interesting and made you want to follow them and learn more about them. And I will say one thing: if you're new to MechWarrior, in MechWarrior 5, they give you 2 control schemes for playing. They call one called Modern and one called Classic. If you're new, I will not begrudge you the Modern control scheme. But I encourage you greatly to go to the Classic scheme. And the difference between the two is that the Modern control scheme kind of does a 1-to-1 where it moves your torso and legs in the same direction. The Classic control scheme allows you to control your legs and torso separately. And if you know anything about piloting a mech,
Yeah.
being able to control those things separately is so vitally important because, y'all, this might be the hardest MechWarrior game I've ever played. And I have played like all of them. There was one mission I was running just the other day that I ran, and it's like a 20-minute mission. I must have run that mission for like 2.5 hours before I beat it. And it felt good to realize like the strategy and the tactics that I needed to change to do it, because it wasn't honestly about my mech configuration. It was about how I approached the final encounter. And when that finally clicked with me, it felt so fucking good. And it also felt like I cheesed the game a little bit. And I love that in a game.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just highly encourage you. It is on Game Pass because all of that stuff's owned by Microsoft. I would say if you have not jumped into MechWarrior 5 before, play MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries first, because that's the one that comes before all of this in the timeline. And then go play Clans. And they're very different experiences. Like in MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries, you can kind of pick where you want to go in the galaxy, and you're responsible for the cost of your mechs, and it gets really expensive, and you can lose really early on. MechWarrior 5 Clans, a little more easy because the clans were very well funded in the Battletech universe, and they choose where you go. You don't get to pick what planet you go to because that's not how the clans work. So highly encourage you to play 5 Mercenaries if you like that. I'm going to tell you right now, they upgrade everything in Clans. And again, it is very inspired by MechWarrior 2. Probably the game that is widely considered the greatest of the MechWarrior games.
MechWarrior 2 is the only one I ever played.
Yeah, that soundtrack, that everything, that was a clan game. You played in the clans. You played Jade Falcon, and you played Clan Wolf in that game, and eventually Ghost Bear as an expansion. In this one, you play as Clan Smoke Jaguar, and I believe there's a Ghost Bear expansion that just came out, like, this week. And that one is not free on Game Pass because it's a DLC, so you do have to pay for that. Please do. Please support Piranha Games. All Piranha does is MechWarrior games, and all I want them to do for the rest of my life is make MechWarrior games. All right, that's everything we have for the show this week. Don't forget that you head over to goodnight.gg to become a patron of our show. You can head over to facebook.com/GNGGcast, where you can chat with us, as well as at GNGGcast on Twitter, and goodnight.gg on Blue Sky to talk to me directly.
And check out our YouTube.
Yeah,
Go to
our
our YouTube.
YouTube. Our
We're
YouTube is
making-
doing things.
We have YouTube Shorts.
Our fantastic producer, John, has been
Don't-
putting up shorts.
Don't tell our real viewers that we have shorts. We don't have shorts, guys.
No, but
we have
if
great
you like
videos that you
shorts,
can watch.
Share them
and-
with your friends who
Yes.
don't watch the podcast.
And
Yeah, send our shorts to all the rubes.
And
Yeah.
I didn't have it written into the script, but John, you recently booted up our Instagram, huh?
I did. I started just posting some stuff from our Instagram, so check that out as well. I can't.
Yeah, GNGDcast, I believe, is what we are on
Yep.
Instagram. So, all right. Well, until next time, for Hector, this is James.
For James, this is Hector.
And for you, this is me.
Everyone, good night.
And good game. Cancel Game Desk.
Damn. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you,
We don't have
everyone.
time to hear about all 13 ghosts at all. But thank you. We will see you
That's
soon.
a different and boss room.
Right.
Different boss room. The 13 ghosts.
Yeah, I will tell you the whole fucking story. All right. Have a good night, y'all.
Night, y'all.